I was invited here because we represent a part of the community where we have been working on hemp hardening both new facilities and old facilities for the Department of Defense for nearly almost 40 years. So all the technology, all the research and the development, all the products that people need to actually harden something have already been developed in most cases. So my mantra has always been that the technology is there and all we have to do is transfer it now to like new users or new products, whether it's utilities or it's power, whether it's water, whether it's septic and sewer, communications. All those things are the things that we've had to deal with for a long time. To us, it's like this very simple technology transfer issue. Although this is somewhat new, there's new players, there's new concerns, there's a new dialogue, the power companies speak differently than we do. We have specifications that we have to meet, and that makes our life actually very simple. But the interesting part is when you try to approach somebody about how do you harden the power grid, it's such a spider web. Like you could lose power in Kansas at your house, and without even knowing it, you are actually receiving power from like Washington State. And so that's the beauty of our power grid and the smart grid system, which we're not experts in, we just know how to harden things. But the fact that there's such a spider web makes it difficult by nature of its topology, is how do you actually get your arms around it and begin to harden it? And so if you can't harden it at the national level, the question comes, can I harden it at a smaller level, maybe the state? And that's one reason we're here in Texas, is to address how could we do this at the state level. Now technically that's not the issue. Technically it's really simple. We have ways to do that. Politically, and who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to fund that? And then we've made it difficult in America because let's say that we legislate that the power companies can raise the rates for us so that they can put their investment of that new monies from the customers into improving their system. Well, it's not quite that simple because we've regulated upon them that there's a generation system and generation players, then there's transmission people, and then there is also distribution. And those people really aren't supposed to talk very much. So they're all supposed to be self-regulating and responsible to other people. So who's the daddy rabbit? Who's the one that takes the lead on doing that? Well, the military has done a really wonderful job addressing hemp hardening for a long time. They haven't really had to address solar EMP, which is like one of the three components of nuclear hardening. They figure if they do nuclear hardening, they've got it covered, and that's kind of true. The problem is what they have done for self-serving reasons is they will have a site that has to operate 24/7. Maybe it's a missile warning site, maybe it's a communication site, but it's all linked together so that the White House can talk to wherever they need to in the world and get information and make good decisions. That site is totally autonomous. The site has got all the power that it needs, it's got all the equipment that it needs, has all the people that it needs to keep running and be survivable. So when we harden a site or a system, whether it's in Europe or in America or in Asia, along with that site and its technical functions comes survivable power. Now, how long it has to remain autonomous while it's spinning its wheels waiting on the commercial grid to come back, that's a classified number which we can't talk about, but every site's different. So they will have enough gas, they'll have enough resources for their generators to kick on, and they just keep purring, so it's totally seamless. So in the military world, they've done a great job making sure that those assets keep working, and the whole purpose is to protect all of us Americans, to keep us, to save millions and millions of lives from the bad guys. If you have, as we start now to transition, all the lessons learned on the military side, to what can we then do on the commercial side? If people want to just deal with the commercial sector, the power system, and the grid, let's say we made it survivable. Let's say we made Texas survivable. it's going to run up to a line of demarcation where, yes, there might be, here at the Capitol building, there might be power available to it. Well, how about the Capitol building? Nobody told anybody to go harden the Capitol building. Likewise, at the personal level, nobody told the power companies to go harden your house. So we're crossing a line of demarcation about, okay, well, we can provide power. Let's say in 2 or 3 years, we've got a nice survivable power system. But there comes a point where it comes to the user, what the power companies call their consumers. And once you pass that line, the term we use back in Colorado is yo-yo. You're on your own. But then if you think bigger than yourself, okay, what does my office need? What does my Capitol building need? What does the hospital need? And there are things that we're learning along the way that we can transfer to those people. But the focus of what's going on now is just to address the grid. Just try to, step one, let's get the grid survivable. In our own technical fields, we all get myopic about, this is what I've got to solve. So it is just so interesting to find out that it's not just this big, it's actually this big. And now we got cyber, and then we've got intentional EMP. But the interface with like all the FEMA work and all the preparedness and how do communities start to respond to this information, that hasn't been packaged at all. So we can all blame ourselves for not explaining that well, but that's where we're all going. I think Texas could be the first and leading state in the whole nation to actually get something viable passed. So good luck to those guys.